Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about joins in SQL, which is one of the most important things that you have to know about SQL. Basically, joins are we're joining tables, so it's pretty self-explanatory, and there are different type of joins. There's inner join, left join, right join, and full outer join. So we're going to go over all the joins, and then there's also self join. So if you're a data analyst, you need to know this. Even if you're a business analyst or financial analyst, it doesn't matter what kind of analyst you are, you do need to know joins, because in pretty much every job requires it that you know SQL. And I have other videos where I've talked about different websites that you can use, like W3 Schools, to learn about SQL. But for joins, you might be wondering like where I can look up some examples. Like if in an interview they ask you about, hey, give me an example about, like, do you know, they can ask you like, do you know what inner join is? Then you need to be able to tell them what inner join is, or left or right join. And if they say, okay, well, if you give them a definition what inner join is, then they will ask you, give me an example, right? So you might be wondering, oh, okay, what do I do now? So let's look at this. There's this website called Geeks for Geeks. There are some examples on W3 Schools too, but let's look at this one. So joins. So there's inner join, left join, right join, and full join, which is also called full outer join. So let's look at this type of SQL joins. So SQL inner join. Let's start with this. Number one definition, read through it and remember and memorize it if you have an interview coming up, or you're just learning it because your job requires you now, for whatever reason. So it says the inner join keyword, select all rows from both the tables as long as the condition is satisfied. The keyword will create the result by combining all rows from both tables where the condition satisfies, which is value of the common field will be the same. Not a good definition. I think W3 School is better for it, but here you can look at the Venn diagram. So there's table A and then there's table B, right? So what it does is there's two tables. Let's just say there's two tables, and you're trying to join and trying to find which records are in common, and then they're in this portion in the middle that's showing you that it's what's common, right? Basically, if we go to W3 Schools, there's a better definition. So let's just actually look at those, and then we'll get into the examples, which is the most important that you can memorize and also practice if you have the server. A join clause is used to combine rows from two or more tables based on a related column between them. So you can come here and look at this. So there's two table, there's order table, and there's a customers table. And then that's the syntax. So there's different type of joins. So this will help. You can copy and paste it in your phone or whatever. Then you can always come back and read it to memorize this. If they ask you, hey, what is an inner join? You can just tell them, so basically, sir or ma'am, the inner join is, it returns records that have matching values in both tables. Yeah. So as you can see in the Venn diagram, there's table 1, table 2, and in the middle, whatever is matching values in both tables, what it will return. In table left outer join, hey, can you tell me about what left outer join? So you can say it returns all records from the left table, and then the matched records from the right table. Then it says return all records. Right outer join is returns all records from the right table and the matched records from the left table. So if you look at the right table, so it will return everything from the right table, and then whatever is matching from the left table, it will bring that. Okay. And full outer join is returns all records whenever there's a match. When there's a match, it's in either left or right table. Okay, so that's what full outer join is. Okay, so our definitions are clear. You can always go here and W3 Schools, copy and paste it in your notes, in your phone, remember it, memorize it. That's one thing. And second thing is because I honestly don't like the examples here. of W3 schools. So I'm going to use Geeks for examples for all the joins. But syntax wise, so click on SQL inner join. I've kind of done it so many times that I've memorized it. Okay, so this is the syntax that you can also copy. So the copy is that first you select the column names, and from table 1 inner join table 2, and then you do on, and then table 1 name dot column name equals table 2 dot column. So first you select the column names, and then from what table, and then inner join the table 2 name, and then the table 1 dot column name. So you'll write that table name again, and the column name, whatever the matching column is, right? So what that means, the table 2 dot column name is, so for example here, you come out here and you see that it says select product ID. Let's look at this. So it says select product ID, the column names, right? That's what the syntax was. Actually, what we can do is okay, perfect. As you can see, like I said, the syntax is select the column names. So this is the column names, right? Product ID, select product ID, product name, category name, right? So these are the columns that we need to select first. Select the column names from table 1. The table 1 is products. The name of the table is products. Okay, and then inner join categories. That's the table 2. So there's 2 tables. We're pulling the data from 2 tables. So from products, inner join table 2, right? So the table 2 is categories, and then we put on, and then this section right here, the table 1 dot column name equals table 2 dot column name. So table 1, which is products dot category ID, equals categories, table 2 name, column name, category. So because category ID is the common column in your data, so as you can see in this table, product table and the categories table, products table and the categories table, the common column is category ID. See, you can see category ID here. Okay, I highlighted it, and okay. So in your joins, you have to have a common column to pull the data, otherwise null. The values will be null. Okay, so we understood the part syntax and went through the example, but I'm gonna use I like the examples here. There's way too many ads here. Super annoying. Stop. Okay. So example of inner join. It says consider 2 tables, student and student course, which share a common column roll number. Using Sql Joins, we can combine the data from these tables based on their relationship, allowing us to retrieve meaningful information like student details along with their enrolled courses. Okay, so inner join. So if somebody says like, let's look at the table. So that's the student table. There's 2 tables. Let's just say, for example, somebody asks you, hey, give me an example of inner join. I'll be like, hey, so I was working on this table. I was working on inner join, and I had 2 tables. One of the table was student table. It had roll number, name, address, phone number, and age, so all the information of the students. And then also there was another table, so student table, and there's another table called student course table. And in the student course table, there was course ID and roll number. So what I wanted to know is the name, age, and the course ID. So I wanted to know the name of the students and the course ID, what course they were taking, and the age. So I selected the columns course ID, name, and age, and I used the roll number column to match and get the inner join values, and roll number was the common column in it. So the output it gave me, or the result that it gave me, was I had course ID, name, and age. Okay, so as you can see, here's student course ID, student name, student.age from student, inner join student course, on student, roll number. So these are the columns, right? Course ID here. Okay, here, so they basically did not, W2 schools did not put the table name, because here they are. So, which is actually useful. You can put the table name. Student course. So there's two tables, student table, student course. So student course, course ID, and student dot name, student dot age. So there's two tables, student and student course. Okay, so you can put the table name if you want. Okay, so that's what you get. And then now let's look at left join. And the only thing you got to do is just like put the, instead of the inner join, you just put type left join, and everything else is the same. Again, you always have to have the matching column, and here you can look at the syntax. So W2 School doesn't show that you have to put the table name, but you can put the table name because it helps for the Sql to understand that from which table you're trying to put that, to retrieve that column, right? So it's telling us from table 1, pull column 1. So it's important to put that. So I would say add that into your syntax. Do that, and then for left join, let's look at left join again. So for left join, again we have, let's see, a left join returns all rows from the left table along with matching rows from the right table. If there's no match, null values are returned. So again, left join is basically, if somebody asks me what is left join, I will tell them. So left join is it returns all the values, all the rows from the left table, and then it returns and then it compares it with, and if anything is matching with the right table. So if there is anything matching, it will pull that value, pull the rows, and then if nothing shows up, if nothing matches from the right table, then it will give me a null value. So again, left join will return all the rows from the left table along with matching rows from the right table. So you can just tell that, just memorize this answer. Okay, and so left join, we're doing student, because we have two tables, right? Student table and then the student course table, right? So go back here, student table, student course table. Okay, so let's look at the left join example again. So we got student, their name, student course ID. Okay, so we only want the name and the course ID. Okay, so name and then the course. So Harsh is the name, and the course ID he's taking is 1. Pratik is 2. Priyanka is 3. Deep is null. Anita is null, right? So nothing showed up, so the values are null, right? So we selected the table and the column name, so student and student course. So from the student table, left join student course, right? So it's left, so our left join, left table, so we use the table student, and we're left join student course. Okay. So I'm just trying to see here. So we left joined it with student course. Okay, so you can see here, because we left joined it with the table student course, right? So student course versus student table, right? So student course table has, let's go up, just course ID and roll number now versus the student table. So what we wanted from our table is name and the course ID. So the name and course ID. So left join student course. Okay, so student course. The student course has the course ID, so 12336. So we're comparing it that's why the values are null, because 1 2 2 3. So for Deep and Anita, so the Deep and Anita has so roll number is 4 and 5. So Deep and Anita has roll number 4 and 5, but we don't have 4 and 5 here. So we gotta really understand what left join is, right? So okay, so I gotta stop scrolling up and down. Because I want to look at the left join example, right, and really understand Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, let's look at a right join again. So right join returns all the rows of the table on the right side of the join and matching rows for the table on the left side of the join. Same thing, same syntax, just put right join. So again, it's gonna right join example. So in the right join retrieves all the rows from the student course table and the matching rows from the student table. Depends on what you're specifying your table 1 and table 2. So okay, let's see. This is our query and this is the result we get. So student dot name so name, we need name and the course ID. So we selected the columns again, selected the columns name and course ID from student table, right join student course, and the common columns are roll number and roll number is the. So again, let's try to understand this because it gets really confusing with right joins and left joins. You gotta decide. Sometimes you might get confused, like what's your left table and right table, right? So left or right table. So we are right joining student course. So student course table has all the roll numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6. So it's giving us all the, because of course the right table is student course, right? So right join student course. So we're telling Sql that to right join student course. Of course, so right join is going to retrieve all the rows, right? So if we look at the right student course table, let's look at student course table. So this is what I was trying to do instead of scrolling up and down, but I don't know. So this is the student course table. Okay, I gotta make it smaller. So 3, 4. So 1. So we wanted a course ID. So course ID has column, course ID has 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 6. So it's gonna compare because it brought all the values from the right join. So if that's making sense, let's recap. So right join student course, right? So the student course table is right here. So right join retrieves all the rows from the student course table. So remember, memorize it. Right join retrieves all rows from the right table. So our right table here is student course, right? So how many rows it has? 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the column it brought, and then it's comparing it to the student table, right? So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the right table here, so the left table becomes, because it's comparing right table bringing all the course ID information, right? And then because we can just match it now, right? So let's see. Go to right here, right? Go back to right join. Let's take a look at it quickly. So right join. So we have 1, 2, 3, 6, right? So 1, 2, 3, 6. So 1 is Hirsch, 2 is Pratik, and 3 is Priyanka, and 6 is nothing, right? So null value, right? So that's why I was trying to really make sense, so that should help everyone, that how the left and right join works. So when we say right join student course table, that means it's going to bring all the values from the right table, which it did, right? So it brought all the values, and then it's going to compare to the left table. Left table becomes your student table that has all the information of the name, age, and address, or whatever, name, age, address, and phone number, and age, right? So that's what right join is. I hope that helps, and same thing for the left join. So now the last one, let's quickly do it. Full join. Full join creates the result by combining results from both left and right join. So first table, second table, let's quickly look at it. So again, select in full join, we need, what is full join? Let's look at the definition. Again, returns all records when there's a matching either left or right table, right? Okay, so we needed the name, course ID, name and course ID from full join student course. From student table, full join student course. Okay, so that's the table. Like, it's gonna compare and check if there's any matching rows. So this example demonstrates the use of full join, which combines the results of both left and right join. The query retrieves all rows from student course tables. If a record in one table does not have a matching record in another table, the result will set to null. So it's gonna check and see if there's anything matching. So deep and Anita has null values. Let's look at that main tables that they gave us. So deep and Anita, and this is the course table. Okay, so deep, let's scroll up a little bit. Deep, roll number, we don't have a roll number 4. This is the full table. Deep does not have a, there's no roll number 4. So it will be null. And then, okay, so that makes sense. I think we covered all the joins, and there should be a self join. So self join is basically self joins are important. They can ask you, right? So what is a self join? I'll just tell them self join is basically, it's just a one table, and then it looking at the value within that table. So basically you're mapping it, and trying to find values, matching values within the same table. So you join the same table. So a self join is a regular join, but the table it joins it within itself. That's the syntax. Select columns from table T1, table T1, 2, where condition this, right? Okay, so this is a syntax. And union is basically joining two tables. This is important too. They can ask you that. The union operator is used to combine the results of set of 2 or more select statements. The union remove duplicate rows from the rule. So select column names from table 1, union, select table. So basically you're joining union, like a marriage, there's a union. So it's just, remember from marriage that it's in between, marriage is like a couple. So two are involved. So then you join 2, right? So 2 tables. So self join is self, right? Self-made, self-motivated, or so self is like, it's about yourself, right? So it's joined to itself, right? You join the table to itself. Single self join is a regular join, but the table is joined with itself. So I hope that helped, and kind of dig deeper into what joins are. I hope this video helped and use these resources. But it's been a while. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Take care. Bye-bye.